Okay, so we listen to the student talk about food chains and food web. Thank you.
Yes, hello everyone. Now I'm going to present about man and nature under the title of food chains and food web. And this is the subject under life and environment. And yes, so let's start my presentation. Here, what is ecology? And now we know that we are living in war and we are living, this is core, this is really concerned with ecology. Like, how to say that? Ecology is study of how living things interact with each other in the world, on the earth. And these relationships include living things like people, human, and also animals, and non-living things called abiotic like air, water, soil, sunlight, yes, etc. And ecology also have us understand food chains and food webs. That's me how animals and plants get energies and depend on each other. Now I would like to talk about a little bit about food change. Food change is really important in ecology. So what is food change? A food chain is a linear sequence showing how energies and nutrients flow from one organisms to another. It's me, which elements eats what. It's me. It can be plants or another elements. Yeah. This is trophic levels in a food chain. There are like 2, 4, 5 levels in trophic level in a food chain. Firstly, producer. It's very simple that plants and algae that make their own food. They don't need uh, another outside food like eating other plants or animals. And primary consumer. It's also simple. Primary consumer are called herbivores in science name that eat only plants. And also secondary consumer. Secondary consumers are how to say meat eater like they are called carnivores that eat the primary consumer herbivores. And then tertiary consumer. Tertiary consumer are top predator. They eat secondary consumer and they also eat meat. They especially eat meat and decomposers. And in decomposer, it's like it's not the big animals or big insect. It's the organisms that break down that matter. For example, it make waste into good benefit things. Okay, and then food web. So what is food web? Food web is a set of connected change. Like in the previous, we have learned about food change. Yeah, food web is also the part of food chains, but it's more complex than food change. It shows how different organisms are linked by what they eat. It's more realistic than a single food chain because food chain is clear, but food web is more realistic. So let's compare food chain and food web. So what is the difference between food chain and food web? Food chain is a simple straight path. It's like uh, the man eat rice. It's very directly like not very complex as food web. Food web is very complex network between many chains like well this animal eat this plant and this plant uh, eat by how many 2 or 3 animals like that. Food web show a clearer pictures of ecosystem. So but in ecosystem it can be clearer although it's complex. Energy flow in ecosystem. So as the energy pyramid template showed in this slide, you can see there is energy flow from the top to the bottom. To explain more, like energy flow from the sand, plants, and then animals, and finally decomposer. Only 10% of energy is passed to next level. Most energy is lost at heat, so that only 10% is passed to the next. So yeah, important of decomposer. Here, why decomposer are important? Because decomposer recycle nutrients into the soil. They have plants to grow by breaking down that matter into benefit ones. Without them, ecosystem would not functioning very well. Yeah. So next slide. So now I would like to talk how ecosystem interact and how human impact on food chains. And in food chain, like cutting forests, remove producer like animals and plants were very impact on food chain. As you see, there is two different impacts on the art. Yeah, there are pollutions by cutting forests and buildings, factories, and cutting so many trees and killing uh, forest animals. The pollution harms animal in water, also water chain. So we have to reduce producing waste to the oceans or overfishing that can upset the balance in oceans. So yes, and then now how we can help nature. Uh, yes, we as we are human, we have to connect with the nature and we have to maintain the nature. Firstly, we have to protect inhabitants like forests and ocean. As I said before, we have to reduce overfishing. We have to reduce cutting down so many forests and use eco-friendly farming and fishing. And you can also see in the pictures, you can plant more trees and you can reduce the usage of plastic, and you can use recycle, and you can also use solar energies. Reduce so that you can reduce pollution and you can reduce the waste. So next slide. This is the summary of everything I present. So firstly, food chain and food web, how the life is connected. So they are very connected. Food web is more complex, but it can be very clear in ecology. And every species plays a role, so that we have to maintain everything in our environment on our earth, and we must have keep ecosystem in balance. So yes, that's all. And thank you very much for listening my presentation. Thank you. And
Why is food chain important?
food change is important um, because as I said, food what is more complex, but food chain is very clear. Like it's we have an elements like dolphin eats small fish, and small fish eats like how to say uh, seaweed. Yeah, so that it is very clear directly food chain. So we need to know that which food that how ecosystem is us how to say um, working, so that we can link with food change.
Oh, okay.
So I want to know, like, in your point of view, like, which one is better, food web or food chain?
Food chain. Yeah, in my point of view, both is important, but food web is more important in ecosystem, because it show realistic one in the nature.
So how can you tell food web is
food webs helps to clear the ecosystem. You tell us food web helps to clear the ecosystem. Why is that?
Oh yes. In food web there is also decomposer. Decomposer helps to clear the waste in the soil so that if they doesn't clear like decomposer mean for example worms. Yeah, they clear the waste in the soil. If they doesn't clear the waste in the soil, that so our soil it can be very dirty. So it is very important.
So what do you understand by food chain in terms of international,
In terms of
global?
international,
Mm.
yeah, internationally, it's also the same because we have to talk about globally when we talk about food change because in food chain, it's very clear that I already said it's like it's connecting very clearly like one element eats another element and another element eats other elements or plants. It's very clear and direct way in food chain. So it's also the same in international.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.